Everyone in Britain wants to go green. We want to save the planet. And if we are honest, we want to save our own wallets at the same time. For years, the electric car was sold to us as the answer to both at once. But in 2026, the maths of the electric car is no longer a simple yes. It has become a mathematical tug-of-war, a contest between the money you hand over on day one and the money you claw back at a finish line that always seems to sit just a little too far away. So let us actually do the real maths. No brochure gloss, no showroom smiles, just the numbers as they stand on any quiet morning in 2026. Start with the entry fee. On average, an electric car in Britain still costs around £8,500 more than its petrol equivalent. Park a Volkswagen Golf next to a Volkswagen ID3, and that gap is staring right back at you. The OLEV grant that once softened the blow for early buyers is long gone. So today, that premium sits entirely on your shoulders. There is no government hand under it anymore. It is just you and the price tag. Think of it like this. Buying an electric car is like starting a marathon wearing a 20-kilogram weighted vest. Yes, once you are moving, you can run cheaper per mile than the petrol runner beside you, but you are carrying that vest from the very first step. And the brutal truth is that you have to run for roughly 5 years at a steady, honest pace just to sweat off that extra weight and get back to zero. Only after that does the electric car actually start putting money back into your pocket. Everything before the 5-year mark is you, still hauling the vest. Now, whether you ever reach that point depends almost entirely on one single thing, where you park at night. Because in 2026, there are two very different Britons of electric ownership, and they are not on speaking terms. The first Briton is the driveway elite. These are the drivers, often out in the home counties, with a private driveway and their own home charger bolted to the wall. On an off-peak overnight tariff, they are paying somewhere near 9 pence per kilowatt hour. For them, a full charge costs less than a takeaway coffee. The maths genuinely sings. These are the fuel wealthy. The second Briton is the street parkers. No driveway, no home charger, no cheap overnight power. They are forced onto the public rapid charger, and in 2026 that rapid charger costs roughly 75 pence per kilowatt hour. Let that figure land properly. At that price, charging your car in public can cost more per mile than filling an old diesel tank. The very people who were told to go green to save money are frequently the ones paying the most to do it. They are not fuel poor in the old sense. They are charging poor. And the gap between those two Britons is the single biggest number in this entire video. And let us make that gap real, because a price per kilowatt hour means nothing until you turn it into a price per mile. A typical electric car covers roughly 4 miles on every kilowatt hour. So the driveway elite, charging overnight at 9 pence, are paying a little over 2 pence a mile. Barely more than nothing, the street parker on that 75 pence rapid charger, they are paying close to 19 pence a mile. And a sensible petrol car sits somewhere around 15 pence a mile in the middle. Read that back slowly. The home charger runs at 2 pence, the public charger runs at 19. That is not a small difference. That is one electric car being nearly 9 times dearer to fuel than another identical electric car parked 1 street away. Then comes the waterfall. Depreciation. This is where a great many electric dreams quietly drown. In 2026, used electric cars are depreciating roughly 15% faster than petrol cars over the first 3 years. Their resale prices are, frankly, melting. Why? Because the market has started treating batteries like smartphones. A 3-year-old battery still works perfectly well, just as a 3-year-old phone still makes calls. But buyers are nervous. They see newer models with longer range and quicker charging, and they whisper the 2 words that terrify every used electric buyer: replacement cost. Even though most batteries will comfortably outlast the fear alone is enough to drag the price down. So a car bought new for £36,000 can slump toward £18,000. In a way, a petrol car simply would not. And if you bought on PCP, that collapsing value quietly reshapes your whole deal, because when the balloon payment lands, the car may be worth less than the paperwork assumed. But here is the twist. There is one group in Britain for whom the electric car is not a slow burn gamble at all. For them, it is an instant win. The higher earners, the 40% taxpayers. This is the success shield, and it is built entirely out of tax. Through a salary sacrifice scheme, A higher rate taxpayer can lease an electric car straight out of their gross salary before HMRC ever takes its cut. The benefit in kind charge, the BIK, is the tax you pay for that perk. And in 2026, yes, it is rising, but only to 4%. That is still astonishingly, almost embarrassingly low. For a 40% taxpayer, the total saving can be worth well over £4,000 a year for that person. And, be honest, really only that person. This is not a 5-year marathon at all. It is a win on the very first payslip. And yet, for everyone else, that finish line keeps moving. You are told break-even is 3 years away. But then VED, the road tax that electric cars use to escape entirely, now applies to them too. Then public charging creeps up another few pence. Then insurance climbs. Every single one of those nudges the horizon another mile into the distance. It is the moving horizon. You keep running honestly, and the finish line keeps politely stepping backwards, just out of reach. Which brings us to one of the quietest siphons of all, insurance and repair. In 2026, insuring an electric car costs on average around 30% more than insuring the petrol equivalent, and the reason is brutally simple. In a great many electric cars, the battery pack forms part of the actual floor of the vehicle, a minor knock, a low speed bump in a supermarket car park. A scrape that would be a cheap afternoon repair on a petrol car, if it touches that battery pack, the insurer often cannot safely certify a repair, so they write the entire car off. A small bump becomes a total loss, and insurers price that exact risk straight back into your monthly premium. You feel it long before you ever have an accident. So who, in cold numbers, should actually buy one in 2026? The honest answer comes down to two very different drivers. The first is the high-mileage home charger. Long commute, private driveway, cheap overnight power at 9 pence. This driver burns through so many miles at that low rate that they sweat off the weighted vest fast, and for them, the maths becomes a genuine triumph. The premium is real, but they outdrive it. The second is the low-mileage city dweller with no driveway, short journeys, no home charger, permanently reliant on that 75 pence rapid charger. For this driver, the premium is heavy, the charging is dear, the depreciation bites, and the moving horizon may never actually arrive in their ownership at all. For them, in the plainest possible maths, a sensible petrol car, or even a self-charging hybrid, often still quietly wins. Even a PCP payment of £450 a month on a modest petrol car can beat the true all-in cost of the wrong electric one. So, are electric cars actually cheaper in Britain in 2026? The answer is the most British one imaginable. It depends. An electric car is a tool, not a miracle, in the right hands. The home charging, high-mileage driver, or the higher-rate taxpayer standing safely behind the success shield. It is one of the smartest financial moves you can make this decade. But in the wrong hands, the street parking, low-mileage driver chasing a green badge for the driveway, it can quietly drain you, pound by pound, for years. Because true wealth was never about the car sitting on your driveway in the first place. True wealth is the moment you plug in and realize your transport is serving your budget, rather than your budget forever serving your status. Do that maths first. The planet and your wallet will both thank you for it. If this video helped, like and hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.